Welcome back, boys. Heaven's Demons Podcast, episode 13.
Lucky 13? No, it's unlucky 13.
It's unlucky 13.
Didn't Friday the 13th just pass?
That was last week, yeah.
Fuck. If only we... That was my fault, guys. If I didn't get COVID, we probably could have done an episode and it would have landed perfectly on it. Just say it's my fault, dude. Just say it's my fault.
It's not your fault.
Okay. Well, welcome to this week's episode. We got our boy in the house, if you want to introduce yourself.
Damien.
I was like, hey, bro, you don't speak that soft. You come on.
No. It's been a while that I've been on. I was on the...
Come on, don't talk too loud either.
now you're yelling.
Don't yell. You got to find the healthy balance, you know?
They can hear you. I know you can't hear yourself, but they can hear you.
See, that's the problem.
So
Not many people know you're deaf.
It's been a while that I've been on, so glad to be back.
We're glad to have you on.
Yeah, I like the new setup. I like everything. I've seen it before a million times, but it's nice to be
But
behind
it's
the
different
mic.
now that you're on this side of it. And we're actually
Because I don't know why I'm more nervous this time around than I was the last few times.
I don't know why. And the funniest thing to me is you're like our number one supporter in everything
Across
we
the
do.
board.
Across the board. I
Yeah.
would never understand why we have you as a friend. We're so grateful.
I think now because he has a brand and he has like something to lose out of it, like he
Oh,
has to
maybe.
represent it.
Yeah.
Not that it was like, his wife and kids before, like
Or his legacy or his family or,
legacy anything. Now it's like, damn, I gotta
deliver.
deliver. I got a brand. They gotta buy from me.
I gotta come correct.
Which
Bro,
you did.
Or you just be you and hope people rock with you.
And if y'all don't, y'all can see me outside.
Well, I mean, you're a father now. We don't have to get in fights anymore.
I'm just
If his
kidding.
kids aren't there,
Usually we do. Fuck, I couldn't say usually. Weekend recap. Y'all want to do that this week?
what did I do this weekend?
We did go see Disco. At what was the
event.
Green Dragon Lounge? There you go.
Yeah, at Brunchies.
Yes.
We went to
So,
Brunchies on Sunday.
It was on Sunday in
brunch.
downtown Palm Springs.
Downtown Palm Springs is at Splash House.
That sounds lit.
It was fun, bro. I got high as giraffe ass.
And
High.
That's high.
And clearly, I don't smoke, so I just got secondhand high. I kept telling everybody like in the most nice way. I'm all just keep blowing the smoke this way.
Yeah, he's all, don't worry, just blow it my way.
I'm all, I don't.
But
need
respectfully, though.
Respectfully, like consensually,
No,
I'll give you it.
It's when people do that, they're being disrespectful. You're like,
Yeah, but
disrespect
Arturo
me.
was like, no, disrespect me. All the disrespect.
Hey,
Disrespect me respectfully.
I'm with it all.
Respectfully,
I'm a slut. What's
disrespect
up?
this. What?
What?
I'm sorry.
What'd you say?
Y'all know what I did? I took my kids to a water park.
Honestly, I saw
they
that.
like
It looked lit.
They loved it. My little one just started walking. My
I
little
saw.
boy.
It looked like he started walking.
Yeah, dude, he just learned how to walk, and now he's chasing my daughter around everywhere. And we took him to go meet Jasmine's little boy, Mikael. And the first thing he does is whack him in the face. And I was like, God damn it.
Yo, hey, that's my boy.
No, and it's not even for me. It's because Aaliyah plays rough with them. So my daughter plays rough with them.
That's
so
my girl.
Somehow down the road,
Yeah,
Hey,
it's
back
all
to
genetic.
you.
It's all
I was
genetic.
gonna say, you don't think
Yeah.
like the DNA, like it's not a real thing? I 100% think it's a real thing.
DNA
course.
tribute.
Hey, TBT, DNA days.
But yeah, that was my weekend. Your guys' weekend sounds a lot funner though.
Well, I mean, it was
Different
a good. Hey, bro, we all of us had fun. I could say that. I'm sure you had a ball with the kiddos.
I did. Yeah.
We just got a bunch of free shit, and Selection was there.
Selection was there. Joe K, Andre Power,
Yeah,
DJing.
Which
they
w-
DJed 2 different sets.
yeah.
Oh, Selection is the one from.
They have Selection Radio.
Yeah, Selection Radio.
Oh, okay,
they
okay.
put on. They're the ones putting on Lovers and Friends.
Oh shit.
The
Okay.
festival.
Which is still
God
beyond me. I didn't know they had like that. Well, granted, they probably have a lot of contacts in the industry, but I would never assume it's because I think of an event like that. I'm like, so like they're promoters. I'm like, I feel like that's just a whole different animal of like an industry.
Well, I've never put on a festival, so I don't know. But
I don't know
know
either.
they've put on concerts and stuff before, like a 1-day thing.
Yeah, but like a festival,
Yeah.
like that's is Lovers and Friends? No, it's 2 days.
It's
2 days. They extended it to 2 days now.
Yeah. Which, based off that lineup,
Sold out quick.
it's a good lineup. I'm not gonna say it's not.
It's basically everybody from the 2000s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
From 2000 to about 2009.
How many babies do you think that festival's gonna produce?
More?
I was
think? Okay, hold on. Like, do you think the younger generation isn't too attached to them?
They aren't. We
Like our generation and the generation above us is attached for life to that music. Like I remember going to a Baby Bash concert in Santa Ana, and
How lit was that?
lit.
I
Single
bet.
mothers everywhere. Like you could just see you could see the demographic, and you're like, it was probably those babies were probably conceived to like this music.
To Cyclone.
Or the baby daddy slid through with the lyrics from said song. And
You
that's
know
how
what
you
I
got
want to go to? I want to go to a Little Rob concert.
I would be.
What are you
so
gonna do
game
after
for
he
that.
plays, these
3 songs?
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Redo
No,
them again.
Did
Yeah.
you guys know that actually Baby Bash is actually a part of SPM's Dope House label?
Still? I thought that's when he was coming up.
When he was coming up, yeah,
Yeah.
but I always thought that was interesting. I was like, huh, what do you know? This dude was running with Game Bangers.
You know, Mr. Capone's not Mexican.
Yeah, he's Pakistan. Like he's
Yeah, he's from Pakistan.
like he's
Wait,
he's
what the
somewhere in
Yeah.
the Middle East.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know.
But is he full or is he part? Because I know
might be part.
He might be mixed.
Yeah, he might be mixed.
Or he could have just
Or
grown
he
up
just
with a
looks
bunch
like that.
Or no, he just grew up with a bunch of fucking
Hey, bro,
Mexicans.
if you take anybody with brown skin, give them a bald head, some lokes,
Hey.
and some fucking mittens,
Stash.
they all start looking alike, bro. Give them a pro club and some fucking 501 jeans, they all start looking the same.
Hey,
with
bro.
some Chucks,
Yeah, bro.
Maybe
Some
some
Chucks, some
Dickies.
Cortezes. Bro, they all start looking the same.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, the Lovers and Friends, like Soul Election put down, so like we got to see them DJ because they were also DJing at Splash House.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was just like a side little promo pre-party, like kind of like Coachella.
Oh, okay.
There's just a bunch of free weed, free edibles, free rolling trays. I kept telling Arthur the whole time, I was like, bro, that rolling tray is free. And he's like, Adam, not everything here is free. I was like, I shit you not, it is. Ask Disco, he's like, yeah, bro, it's free. Take
Well,
it.
to be fair, it didn't go with the theme. Like it didn't say like anything about like brunchies or like tied to the event. So
Nah.
I just figured I was like, oh,
You
they
know
just
what's
have them
funny
here.
is Arturo a few years ago was trying to steal patio furniture.
That's not
and
true.
Now this fool's over
That
here
is
like,
not
He's
true.
over here like,
contemplating
oh
whether
no,
or
bro,
not-
please respect others' property.
That is not true. I never did that.
Like we didn't go to Irvine
Indio.
and like scout it out.
In Indio.
Oh shit, no.
I never did. I've never done that once in the valley.
I'm talking about when we went to Irvine, but alright.
I can't speak for those years.
Okay.
Oh, you stole where you felt safe.
I stole. Yeah, bro. I'm not going to Northside and starting stealing furniture. That's what I'm not gonna do.
Because
But
that's stolen furniture already.
And you can't steal what's stolen. You
No,
shouldn't
no,
just
no.
do that.
That's just karma.
Hey, you know what? Fuck it.
It's bad ethics.
It's
Is it though?
It's bad everything.
Hey, but if I'm in Irvine, is it though?
No, Irvine is fine, but I'm
They'll be
saying
fine.
stealing
Hey.
stuff that's stolen is bad.
No, that
and
is
2 negatives equal a positive.
that is true. I can't disagree with them there. I'm just
That's
not.
I got
that's simple
stumped. I got
math.
Hey,
my
I
guy.
just like my safety, and I'm not gonna do it here. Let's just say that over there.
The difference: Irvine doesn't have guns. Northside does.
Yeah, a huge difference. And by the way, have really nice furniture.
Yeah.
No, hey, no disrespect to those who live in.
I'm not
Northside,
gonna
but-
judge this area based on the statistics of income, but
No, not at all.
How'd they get this furniture over here? Oh, stole. Oh, fell off the truck.
One of those.
Yeah,
Hey,
got
I just got at a discount.
Have
Got
you
it?
heard of stories of people like shopping at the swap meet
And it's
then-
stolen goods.
No, and it's their stuff that
That-
got stolen.
That I've never heard of.
That
Yeah,
no.
I've heard of that. Like this girl was telling me her dad went and he's like, "That's my fucking table saw." Like, no, and he etched his name in a certain spot and he's like,
That's
"This
so
is mine," and
fucked
just
up.
like grabbed it.
I would have probably started swinging.
Yeah. My dad probably would have.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Hey, there's a few things you don't take from a man. Tools was one of them.
Yeah.
Power tools. You
tools.
don't take.
No.
You could take someone's screwdriver or their hammer or whatever. Fucking.
They'll
That's
be able,
replaceable.
hey, they'll be able to fucking get by.
Yeah.
But they're power tools. You know how expensive fucking power tools are.
I didn't know as a kid.
How valuable those things are.
No,
until you
I
need
didn't
'em.
know. Like, my dad got his tools stolen once and then installed cameras everywhere. Got a utility box, locked everything.
Mhm.
Like, yeah.
They're fucking pricey.
No, they're pricey.
I didn't realize.
They're pricey.
It's a thing, but
And I should have known because he would throw around a hammer, never a table saw, or never a
Oh,
power
God,
tool.
no.
He would never throw that shit on the ground like a hammer. Fucking gone
Hey,
in a second.
hey, the fucking battery, the charger, everything.
Yeah.
Hey, in its place. Do not move it. Make sure nobody touches it.
Bro, he'll throw a fucking hammer, put the fucking nicely,
Just calm.
throw something else.
Puts it back in the original pack.
Yeah.
The
Folds it all
packaging
nice.
and everything.
Wipes
Yeah.
it down, polishes it, put it inside.
That's me. That's me. with
And
my
that's
power
controlled
tools.
rage, and I respect that.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Gets a
a man who
fucking
values.
Phillips and throws it in the drywall.
It's all. It nearly misses Adam. It's all.
Bro, I have a story of him throwing deodorant at me, and it missing me, and it hit the TV and shattered the TV.
Why'd you move?
Yeah, he was mad. It was my mom's roll deodorant, like the band.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, bro, but that's your fault. You know why?
I shouldn't have moved.
Hey, you shouldn't have gone with your natural instinct of
Mhm.
moving out the way and surviving.
Yeah.
That's your fault. Not having.
All I do
foresight.
is just quick little hit the TV, crack. Now he's got like a $1,000 problem on his hands. First, he was just trying to teach me a lesson.
Hey,
No, he's got $1,000 problem, and then your mom to deal with.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, his problems went way further than he could have imagined. That day.
Men will make situations worse for themselves that fast,
We do.
unknowingly.
We do.
Constantly.
Yeah.
But
The
yeah,
Splash House.
Splash House. That was fun. It was interesting being in a setting because it was in a dispensary and everybody was smoking. So it's like if you think about it,
It was a lounge.
or
Their
a lounge,
yeah.
yes. But if you think about it, you would kind of want people up and out, like moving around. Like there's a DJ, obviously. You kind of want that vibe, but it wasn't like that because obviously when you smoke, most people aren't going to be getting up and doing a lot. Like they're just going to be sitting down. So it was really interesting to see like the difference of like what a
Yeah.
bar is and like what a usual like pre-Coachella event looks like.
I'm laughing because
versus that.
you could see the clear difference of everybody there that was strictly smoking weed.
Yeah,
and you could know the people that were pre-gaming for Splash
No, you know what
House.
Yeah.
came to my mind? Have you guys seen that little video where it's like the two little kids and one's like, oh, when the homie that's smoking versus the homie that's
drinking, and he's
it's
just
like
all
a
like,
little,
yeah.
he's just lit. Yeah, so that's what came to mind. That's what I
Bro,
was laughing.
Well, that's what
a group of people like that
Uh-huh.
showed up. You could tell they're drinking and on a bunch of other
the
narcotics.
the energy shift immediately.
Energy shifted like it was a bull in a china shop, bro. They walked through and we just like everybody just looked like, oh, they're not here to smoke. They're here to see Joe K.
Yeah, I probably would have been one of the people that's there just lit too. I don't smoke.
That's what I would prefer to be. Yeah.
Oh, I was chill, and then I got high. I I tried to tell, like I couldn't find words, so what I did is I took a photo of a giraffe. I screenshotted it.
And you're like,
Bro, I told Arturo, I was like, this is how high I am.
Higher than
That's
giraffe.
a giraffe? That's me.
I honestly thought you were gonna do a high because you know, like, especially like I'm higher than giraffe's ass.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna do something like that.
Bro, I love Joe Rogan said that in a bit, like I'm higher than giraffe pussy.
And look at him sitting a trend.
Bro, but I'm like over here just quiet, just like I know he's probably thinking, what the fuck is this idiot doing? Come on, this is how high I am.
Because hey, I'm sober as a button, so I can tell when something he's having, like he's going through it. I'm like, oh, he's processing something. I just don't know what it is. He could, because most people don't speak more when they're high. They speak less.
it looks all
I speak
articulate,
less.
and all it says is me,
Giraffe.
hi.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that was his Sunday.
That's a good Sunday.
It was a good Sunday. So we all had a good Sunday. I'm glad. I'll say we usually go into our topics, but since you're here and you have a drop coming up, I wanted to kind of, I don't know, maybe talk about the brand because you haven't been on, right, since the brand kind of
you
No,
initiated.
I don't think I introduced.
Since the-
Yeah, no.
You haven't-
I think since the introduction of the brand or the kind of the takeoff of the brand, I don't think I've been on here to kind of
Take off officer.
Yeah.
explain a little bit about it.
But I was gonna say, do you want to talk kind of like the inception of it? Like one, kind of choosing the name, and two, it's like getting getting into it. Like
what made you-
what sparked you?
So the name of it is Artistic Hype, and we kind of contemplated a few because it's me and my fiance, and
You're
so
fine.
we contemplated a few names. It was Artistic Perspective. Don't do that. Don't do that.
It was gonna happen.
Earlier, what I did is I bobbed on the mic. That's why I'm like laughing.
I mean,
right
you
now.
didn't have to tell that.
You didn't have to tell that to
It's
our
alright,
50
it's
million.
alright.
But hey, to our 50 million viewers, but it's all good, bro.
So we were kind of spitballing names to see what would stick, and one of them was Artistic Perspective, Creative Perspective. And we're like, wait a minute, that's already a
It's a
brand.
tongue twister.
Yeah, and so we ended up going with the Artistic Hype because it was something that was tailored more towards people that know how the sneaker game goes and the sneaker drops and how it's limited release and you got to get it right then and there, otherwise you can't get it again
Yeah.
unless it's retroed. And so we wanted to follow more like the same concept with our tees, where it's like, hey, we're gonna drop these tees, and we usually do it by 2 designs. So we're gonna drop these 2 designs. Either you get them right then and there, or you gotta wait till we retro them. And even when we retro them, the colors might be different, the pictures might be different,
Like
the
the
layout might be
design,
different.
yeah.
So it'll be the same person or the same concept, but
No two designs are the same.
no 2 designs are ever going to be the same.
Yeah.
And so basically the way it got started is kind of my escape, if you will, because you know I work a 9 to 5. I'm a dad of 2 and I'm a fiance, and so kind
I'm
of
a repper of 5'3".
yeah, and so
Hey, not my height, so fuck off.
not my height. I'm 5'5".
Ain't nobody begging that.
Ain't nobody banging thermal out here. No, fuck no. Puro koshala. But anyways, let's be on the point. So fucking
Hey, you don't know that's just a real small gang.
yeah, nah, it really is.
It's two ranches.
The fuck they fight on horses? They fight on horseback?
Hey, it's 2 ranches and some fucking roosters for the cockfights, and that's it. But no, it was kind of my creative escape, my creative outlet, and it was kind of piggybacking off of the trail when you guys had introduced your brand and you guys had did your first drop, and I kind of mentioned to Lee, well, wait a minute. I was like, I'm always drawing on this fucking iPad anyways. It's like, why not slap this shit on some shirts? And so we had to figure out, okay, well, how do we go about getting samples, and how do we go about price marking things, and how do we, trying to figure out all the logistics of it. So a lot of it in the very beginning was me trying to line up all my ducks in a row before I mentioned it to anybody. And I know some people felt kind of like, oh, why are you hiding this from your homies? It's like, it's not that I'm hiding it, but it's like, you never want to go and approach somebody with an idea if it's not foolproof, because
if it's not well thought out.
Yeah, not thought out all the way.
Yeah, and because they're going to ask you questions, and you don't want to be a deer in the headlights and being like, no, you want to be able to have answers and show them, well, hey, we kind of, we went here to source our samples. Hey, this is what we're going to do with our designs, and this is the layout, and this is the cost.
Which is good. I would say foresight on your part, because we talked about it before, like even amongst the culture corner, how we're always open to giving free game, but at some point it's like, are you doing anything?
You got to figure it out on your own.
Like there's some you got to also have the initiative and the drive to kind of figure it out beforehand.
Yeah, and it's just doing your due diligence, and so it came a point where I was hitting roadblocks, and I was reaching out to Arturo, and I was reaching out to Adam. And so, by the way, thank you guys, because if it wasn't for you guys, like, I wouldn't have been able to do this shit. So I want to give you guys your props and your kudos, because I send you guys the designs. I take you guys.
Show us thanks and equity in the company, but I'm just kidding.
We'll talk about that off mic.
Can I at least get free shipping?
Hey, I mean, because I want some equity in Heaven Demons too, But
honestly, bro, with as much as you supported, you probably should at this point.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So,
what was your
Heaven's
title? What was your title when we got the office?
Oh, so I was
director
doing a lot
of facility.
Director of facilities or something.
I was executive director of facilities.
There you go.
So it's basically.
So
just
you technically do have a title with the
Mm-hmm.
brand, because this area is Heaven's Demons.
It is. Yeah.
Majority.
Yeah. But I want a small little stake of artistic hype, even if it's that little speck on the wall over there. So
Hey, bro, if you want to bring anything over, you can.
I'll bring some stuff over. But yeah, no, that's just basically how it got started. Is just seeing you guys kind of have an idea, and kind of have kind of a vision, and then put that vision into play and actually make shit happen. And it was kind of a motivator and kind of lit the fire under me. And I was like, you know what? Like, I saw they could do it. I was like, and if I hit any blocks on the road or anything, I could always reach out to them, and I know that they're more than willing to help me out. Which is another thing that I like about kind of our close little knit group of people, where it's just like nobody's a gatekeeper of anything. Like if somebody has information that they want to share, then they share it, or if somebody comes to you with a question, you give them the honest answer, the honest opinion. It's like, it's not, because I've reached out to people and they're like, well, I can't tell you that, or I can't disclose that information. It's like, well, dude, like, that whole gatekeeper mentality, it's like it's fucking burnt out.
Hey,
it's stupid.
If you're scared, just say it.
Yeah.
If you ain't confident, just say it, bro. It's all good. That's always what I equated to. When
And
people don't
so
wanna give
and that's my thing. It's like, okay, my demographic, there might be some overlap between some other people's demographic, but everybody's different. Everybody has their kind of niche or their niche. And so not every two brands are exactly the same. And that was one thing that actually from the very beginning that I was told is that you need to know your target audience. What is it that specifically that you want? Because you just don't want it all over the place, because then it's you're going to be all over the place with your brand. And so you want something that's specific. And so for me,
to be specific,
it was kind of the kind of vintage apparel was kind of making a comeback, and then
which I kind of want you to elaborate on that, because it kind of at least from what I see, artistic hype essentially, in a sense, it's kind of like the memorabilia vintage type of look. What made you decide to go that route?
A lot of people will probably say it's like, oh, you know, it's the in thing, it's fast fashion. But really, when you think
Which
about
I
it,
call bullshit because I do know you and the things you've collected over like I could see.
yeah. So for those people that don't know, like I'm not gonna say I'm a hoarder, but I love like just
a whore.
Hey bro, if you're a whore, just say it, bro.
in a pastime. But that's neither here or there. But
Last time, I'm different now.
I've
changed.
Yeah, I'm different.
So much.
yeah, and so it was fuck. See, I lost my train of thought. No, so I like collecting like timeless like memorabilia, like
Yeah.
boxing autographs, autographed pictures, autographed gloves, jerseys. So I'm a big fan of like, you know, just and even with sneakers, like you see some sneakers that are like old sneakers, and I could point them out. I'm like, dude, like, oh, those are the '95s. This is that, whatever.
Like history, like the history of stuff,
Yeah,
like
so-
whether
so-
it be
so-
an athlete, a celebrity,
Yeah,
stuff
and
like
Like
so-
moments and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So like moments in time, or just like, you know, legends, or timeless piece, or something that you can look at and you can say, oh shit, I remember that, and that's from, you know, any given like year. Like, you know, when people think, fucking, what's that song? Snap Your Fingers. You think, oh shit, you know, middle school. You know, like
I
the
think of
dancing.
middle school
and-
dance
Yeah, and so
and me
it's-
having to wear slacks.
Damn, you
it's-
should make a Soldier Boy tee.
Hey, hey, write that down. Write that down.
Write that down. Write that down.
You might have just bought yourself some equity by that. Actually, you know what? You guys have thrown around so many fucking designs and ideas.
On the shirt
that-
says the first rapper to the.
Yeah.
It just says on
to
top.
do everything.
Hey, Drake.
It's gonna be the first rapper to be featured on Artistic Hype and Co. Even if it's not.
Even if it's not.
But yeah, no, it was a lot of that, and so we kind of wanted to marry and merge kind of those two communities, because they do go hand in hand, as the vintage community and the sneaker community, and kind of bring them together and find a good middle ground. So you'll notice too on a lot of our designs, you know, a lot of them. You can find any type of Jordan or any type of I'm not really a Yeezy person, but you could find some Yeezys.
If you're
that pair
yeah,
perfectly.
like a sneakerhead can pair a shirt with
like,
or pair a shoe with
they
this
would
shirt.
they would look at a shirt and be like, dude, I have the perfect sneakers for that. And I've done that. I'm guilty of that, where I see a shirt and it's like, I have the shoes for that fucking specific shirt. I want that.
Who's
shirt.
also told me that as well was Mata, Return of the Goods. He said Jordan 1s and NASCAR tees go well together.
They
Like
do.
you can find colorways for certain shirts that go with certain
They complement
shoes.
each other so well.
Yeah.
So-
It's the same thing when I see the memorabilia tees that you're doing. It's
Yeah.
like you can find the same colors.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so they're a mix of artists. They're a mix of, you know, sports athletes. You know, maybe somewhere down the line we'll do actual, like, you know, really well known
Poets. Got it.
public figures and shit like that. And so it's just, you know, giving everybody their
Flowers.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah, giving everybody their flowers, kind of paying respect to the legends, and, you know, making a dope design out of it. And so it's not like these designs, like, you know, like it's something that I just fucking take out of Photoshop and it's like, or something that I just download and it's like, okay, you know, I found this online, or I stole somebody else's fucking design, because I see that all the time too, where people are stealing other people's artwork and they slap it on the tee.
Yeah.
You know? There's a
Or
few-
their concept, like you could tell.
there-
Where they
there's
got it from.
yeah, there's a
Pretty
few
easy
there's
to
a
know.
few people that come to mind, but I don't want to kind of give them that light or anything.
No.
But, you know, I know
You
a
don't
few.
have to say their name.
I'm not. There's a few
Yeah.
people that I know
They know
that
they are.
will, like, literally steal a design from an artist, and they slap it on a tee and they sell it, and then when the artist confronts them about it, it's like, oh well, hey, just DM me, we can talk about it. It's like, no, fuck no. It's like,
Yeah,
that's my
talk.
design.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, but yeah. So that's how it came about, and so
I'll just say this to the naysayers that are like, oh, like if you're kind of copying or going on something. When you first started it made so much sense, like what you were doing, because I was like, oh, that's 100% Damien.
Yeah.
Like, because I know you, so I was like, all the memorabilia and all this stuff, like you're a sucker for that, like, nostalgia. So I was like, oh, that's so fitting to who he is. But for those that don't know you, it's like you would have never guessed that. So for me, when I first saw it, it just clicked on my mind. I was like, yep, 100%.
And you know what? You probably might have dissected this deeper than I probably would have, because I wouldn't have thought about that. Of, you know, it kind of goes over my head of, like, all the memorabilia that I collect as well too. But another thing that I like is, like, I fucking love sneakers.
Yeah.
And so it's like just kind of taking those two and just kind of merging them and marrying them together. And,
Yeah.
you know, you come up with, you know, I come up with some, and I don't want to say I, because it's my fiance Lily as well. You know, some of the
Give her
designs
flowers.
that
Go ahead.
yeah, some of the designs that
I mean,
I've
you already
come
gave
up
a
with.
ring,
Like
but-
for example, this is a tee
Yeah,
kidding,
that
what do
we
you
got
want from
coming
me?
up. I'm not gonna.
If you want to
Stand
say,
up.
bro, if you want to flash and stand up, go ahead.
I'll stand
Hey, don't
up
put your
real
dick
quick.
on the
Don't
mic, bro.
put your dick on the mic.
I'll try not to. So this design.
Which, by the way, I love Aaliyah.
So this design literally went through like 3 different processes, and I've scrapped all 3 designs. And it wasn't until finally I told her, "Hey, what do you think about this?" She was like, "I like that picture. I like this background. I like this font. I like this, and I like that." I literally just put everything together, and she was like, "Okay, I like that." And I was like, "Dude, you just made this whole fucking design. Like, this is your design."
It's funny
And
how
one of my favorite shirts.
it's funny how like in the artistic process you go through things, and then somebody else just comes in. It's like, oh fuck, why
Yeah,
didn't I see that?
Sometimes you need fresh eyes. Though,
yeah,
Yeah.
to
because
bounce ideas
because
off
like
of.
Yeah.
you went through a few designs, right? I'm sure like you're probably breaking your head on it.
Yeah, and some designs like you would think like an Aaliyah tee, you're like, oh dude, that's so fucking easy, like so iconic, like all these iconic images come into mind. But then you think about it like, okay, well this has been done before, like everybody's used this image, like I want to use something different. And then also you got to think about, you know, a lot of the people from the past, you know, fucking HD cameras weren't a thing back then, so you get images that are super pixelated, and you kind of got slim pickings, and so
Yeah.
that's when you gotta kind of get a fresh set of eyes. Like even now, like I showed you guys, kind of literally every fucking design that we're gonna drop.
Oh,
because
we
got
were
the same
probably
artists.
we were at it for like an hour before
and
this.
yeah, for a good hour, it was real good, like constructive criticism. And so you kind of got to be picky about the people too that you take criticism from, because some people will just say bullshit because, you know, it's something to their own personal liking. But then
Yeah.
there's other people like you guys that understand the brand, they understand kind of the vision, they understand, you know, they you guys know me on a personal level, and so you guys know what I like, and so you guys know that, you know, I'm not going to take offense to anything you guys say. And so
I mean, the R. Kelly design was a little bit too much, but I mean, I get what you're saying.
yeah,
I get it.
that R. Kelly design's never seen the day of life. Never.
Just kidding, folks. You did not
But
have
what,
one.
I'll say to that is you have to. What I've learned is, don't show your designs to everybody.
No.
Like
no,
you
don't.
you may think like you showing it to, you know, somebody that you're cool with,
Yeah.
that they'll like this, like they're gonna give me constructive criticism. They're probably not. Like, you got to learn who to show your ideas to, who actually understands you, understands your brand, or who respects you. Like, you got to go to people that you respect their opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then there's other people that could either be wishy-washy or like
The yes
they're
man.
cool.
The
yeah,
yes
and
man.
you
Yeah,
also,
the
you
yes
also don't
man.
want, yeah, exactly. You don't want a
yes
lot
man.
of yes man, because I've ran a few designs by a few people, and they were like, "Oh, that's so dope, I like it," and then I run it by you guys, and you guys and Lily, oddly enough, are like the 3 people that I use as like kind of my judging board, or kind of like, you know, my approval process. Where it's
And
like,
it's
okay,
3 different taste levels too.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
none of
so-
us are like clearly.
No, no. So if I could get everybody to somewhat agree on a design, it's like, okay, I've nailed it. I got something perfect. And at the same time, it's doing that and not losing myself in that either, because
Yeah.
it's one thing to say, hey, you know, I want to do this because Adam says he likes this, and then you fully engulf yourself in that, and then you lose sight of, you know,
Everything
The other
else.
side.
your, well, not only that, but your own design and kind of the way that you wanted it
Yeah.
to look.
It's a hard thing to balance,
It is,
because you
it
want to
is.
stay true to yourself. You want to listen to your demographic. You want to get a new demographic. You want
Yeah.
you want to transcend. Like, eventually, like, yes, we do this stuff because we love it. There's a lot of people, like, I'm sure when you first started out, like, we know you on a personal level, so it made sense, your brand. But for other people, it's hard because they're like, wait, this is what you like. Like, you start to realize people really don't know you. Like, they
Yeah.
don't know you fully. Like, they
No.
know your name, they see you out, they know some things about you, but they don't know you. Like, they didn't know that you love the memorabilia, that you draw on your iPad all the time. Like, they don't know that shit.
And that actually stems from kind of like a graffiti background, which is funny to say, because the only reason I got into graffiti is because I love fighting.
Yeah.
And so I was approached in high school. I was like, hey, you want to join our little graffiti clique? Like, yeah, what do
Wanna
I
join
do?
our gang?
And
Want
I'm
to join our
like,
crew with a K?
yeah, and our crew is the
Hey, so creative.
And so
Or our crew with a CRU?
and so I was always the smaller guy, but I knew how to scrap.
Yeah.
Because I boxed as a young kid, and so that was something that, you know, hey, I don't know how to write, but I know how to get down, and you know, that
And then you kind of just like
And then you learn how to write.
Yeah, submersing yourself
Yeah.
in that culture, you kind of picked up like what came with it too.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
not just obviously fighting.
And I want to say I've always been kind of artistic, even as a kid.
You're enunciating your R's.
Yeah.
It's just me being childish.
yeah, don't
Okay.
Continue.
don't acknowledge our
Okay,
stupidity.
so as a kid, I was always pretty artistic, and it's weird to say that a lot of the stuff stemmed from like my dad being locked up, and so I was always getting letters with like little art pieces down at the bottom, and so shit like that. And so a lot of like
That's interesting.
So if
That's
you
very
if you know anything, like if you look at like Chicano art, and if you look at kind of even some of the prison art, like a lot of it is like a lot of shading, a lot of blending, and
Well, because all they have is a pencil. Like you got to get creative.
or even a pen. So you
even
got to
pen.
get it's getting creative with what you got, like the bare minimum. And
You
so,
could do so much of like, you know, with your fingers, like to shade in and stuff like that. Like you. It also makes me think, because my dad would get letters like that as well, and I'm like, is everybody in jail just like they just know how to draw? Or do they have art classes? Like, what the fuck? Because my dad would get the same. My dad would get the same letters. I'm like, are you just learning in jail? Like, you just practice every fucking day?
Hey, bro, nothing else to do.
There is nothing else to do.
Hey, you're
You
either
get
fighting,
jacked.
lifting up, or lifting shit, or drawing.
I
So
guess, yeah.
so if there's any what do they call them, therapists or psychiatrists or whatever the fuck the correct term is for them, any of them watching this shit, they're gonna go deeper and then be like, oh, you know, like you like drawing because it stems from like your daddy kind of thing, you know. So
Hey, bro, we've said it multiple times on this podcast. A lot of things could go back to daddy issues, but that's not the point. That's not the point.
Yeah, so no, I've always
wasn't there.
Take me to the fair.
so I've always considered myself artistic from even a young age, and so a lot of it took, you know, kind of that form of, you know, receiving those letters from him in jail, and then, you know, when you get older, and I joined a little graffiti clique because it's like, okay, I like to fight, but then on my downtime when I'm not fighting and I'm not getting down,
I guess I could draw.
He's like,
you know,
I guess I could do graffiti.
I guess I can
I'm
get
sketching shit, and it's like, oh shit, you know, like, hey, I'm actually pretty good at this.
Yeah.
And so now
He's like, I never actually did any graffiti.
now,
But
no, I did. There's actually a few bridges that I'm under. So.
Still, you gotta
No,
go back to
no.
check.
anybody cross you out yet?
I probably. Yeah, dude, that shit was horrible. It was horrible licking. I'm not gonna act like I was the best fucking graffiti artist, but shit, see me 1-on-1.
Yeah.
You don't
Like,
wanna
that's
see
gonna
that.
prove you're the better
Yeah.
graffiti artist.
Hey, see him 1-on-1 in a Denny's parking lot. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Don't.
Don't.
Don't do it. No, so that's pretty much how it came about, and then I think Lily even sees it as an scapegoat because, you know, she has a 9-to-5 job, and, you know,
She's a mother.
She's a mama too, and she's also a fiance, so she's got to.
She can also throw hands, so.
She can. She likes to think she does. She likes to argue with the cashiers, and it's like, dude, you don't know how to fight. Like,
Hey, so
stop.
far as you know,
She's all, I'll air this whole bitch out.
she's all, my man will come back and start get to clapping.
Damien's all in the back eating his scrambled eggs. Like, what the fuck is she doing? Babe, I
No.
frequent this Denny's.
No, I'm out pushing the double-seater stroller, and it's like, what? Like, what are you talking
He's
about?
all, babe, I've been trying to get out of this life for a while, and you keep reeling me back in.
No, but it's a
fucking love you.
it's a good scapegoat for her as well too. And then we kind of mentioned it too from our first drop to now, because our first drop was in March, and so we wanted to drop every 3 months and do 2 designs every 3 months. And we kind of dropped the ball because we dropped in March, and then we were kind of lagging with the designs and finalizing the designs, and then, you know, you get so caught up in, you know, your job and, you know, being a parent that you kind of lose your own identity. It's like, okay, no,
Life happens, bro. It's a thing.
yeah, it does, but it's also you know, you don't want to be kind of constrained to just those titles. Like, you know, you just don't want to be, hey, this is Damien the office, and hey, this is Damien the dad. It's like, no, like, who's Damien the person himself?
Yeah.
And so this is a good way for me to be able to express myself, and then vice versa for her. It's a good way for her to be able to express herself too.
Yeah,
So
we all need our or just outlets in general.
yeah. And that's one thing. I think everybody needs a creative outlet, whether it be photography, whether it be graphic design, which I didn't know that's what I was doing, but somebody told me, no, that's graphic design. I was like, it's...
You just didn't realize what you're actually doing.
Yeah, I was
You're
like,
just
holy
doing
shit.
it.
I was like, I'm a graphic designer? Like, what?
You put that on
He's
your
all, put
resume.
on a business card right now. Go ahead.
So, but it's essentially what you're doing. I
Yeah.
was like, holy shit. And then, you know, whether it's that, whether it's painting, whether, you know, hell, even if it's graffiti, like, everybody needs an artistic outlet. I feel.
Just something, a hobby.
Yeah.
Just anything like that gives you what you said, what you're alluding to is you searching for who you are. Like, yeah, you're a father. You
identity
have
of-
this. Yeah, like that stuff that, yeah, you are that, but that's not the end all be all of
Yeah.
like, because I've seen parents just, they had a life before their kids. When their kids happen, like, I get it. Like, your life needs to go make sure your kids are okay, but you have to have something that keeps you sane, that keeps you, that you can hold on to, that you don't, like, by the time you you know, your kids are 18 out of the house, you're like trying to search for it again.
Yeah,
like,
you're
"Wait,
all-
what the fuck do I like to do?"
So what who am I? It's like it's one of those things because I remember my dad always talking about it, how like parents kind of submerge themselves in their kids, and yeah, but having that tough balance of still being who you were a person before this, you're still a person during and after this. Like that's something that should never get lost in translation. Which you do a great job, and Adam and I talk about all the time. How you're a great father, but you still manage to do all these things, and you still like support. So you do a lot.
Yeah.
So it's kind of my way of like giving you flowers. Like
Thank you.
we respect 100% what you do. Obviously, it's not easy being a father, especially a good one at that.
Yeah.
And then doing what you do. At the end of the day, I respect it.
Handle's
Thank you.
fucking cold.
And you know what? Oddly enough, it's funny because when I was
shit
talking
funny.
when I was talking to Lily about starting the company and starting we could put this stuff on T-shirts and sell it. The thought process behind it is, okay, well, what are we gonna do with our profits? Oh, you know what? We're gonna make separate savings accounts for the kids. So it all goes
There you
full
go.
circle. So even though you try to find your own identity outside of your 9 to 5 and being a father, it still kind of comes full circle to what's important to you. And for me, it was first, before anything, I am a father.
Yeah.
And then from there, it's I like sneakers. I like vintage memorabilia. I like art. Not you, but well, I kind whatever. You know what I mean.
All right, bro. I guess we're not friends. You don't like me.
But every like our whole brand, like everything came full circle for us because it's like, okay, it's in our scapegoat. It's a creative outlet for us. It's something good that we could do, me and her together, outside of parenting and work and stuff like that. And so, and to kind of wrap it all up and kind of bring it back full circle, we're doing all this for the kids because the profits that we get from this is we literally take it and we put it into our kids' accounts.
Yeah.
And it's like by the time they're our age, it's like, okay, aside from what we put, from
Savings
our
wise, work, retirement accounts.
our biweekly paychecks, they have this extra like kind of lump sum that's going in there with every drop. So you're supporting a small business, but you're also supporting my kid's future that you guys didn't even know about. So
Yeah.
I think you guys knew about.
No,
that.
I did. It's to me, it's impressive. And yeah, it's one of those things because we obviously have friends that have kids, but like the way you kind of manage all of it and kind of doing what you're doing, it's just like, damn,
It's impressive.
how could you not
It's
respect
hard.
it?
It's hard. Yeah. I'm not gonna. Some days are better than others. I guess we can kind of segue this. I don't know if you guys want to do segue out of it or.
Oh, we could. I was gonna say because
into kind of like a mental
yeah, I kind of like into mental health because we'll kind of transition to the next one. The whole Naomi Osaka, or what is it? Post game press conference.
Yeah,
that's what you kind of call it, or post
match. Post match.
Yeah,
When
it's
it's
not really a
tennis,
game.
wrestling, it's match.
Okay, so post match press conference. There was a report. So what happened was there was a reporter from the Cincinnati Enquirer, and like I don't know, there's actually a 3-part series on Netflix that came out that I watched. It was on Naomi Osaka. She's a young Japanese American tennis player, very young.
she's really well spoken too. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. But she's
No,
really
no,
well
no.
spoken. But you can tell by the way she speaks that she's super introverted, and like these kind of like for her to do like these post game or post match like conferences are like a drag, like a mental drain on her. Like
Imagine, like you just see from the camera angle, right? But you don't see from her angle. Which have you ever seen like post game, like when they're in the locker room and you see how many mics are in like the athletes'
His
faces?
face, it's like, dude, back. Like,
Yeah.
hold on.
So like on the like she should take a photo from where she's sitting, and what she sees, and just nothing but reporters, nothing but microphones, nothing
Yeah.
but cameras
Well,
flashing.
I think right now they're on Zooms.
Oh,
But
well, either
beforehand,
way,
it was,
yeah.
it was like that.
it's kind of like you lose that human sentiment where like at the end of the day this is still a human being. They still got feelings.
They're just really good at something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like like even me, like with the lights and the camera, like before we started rolling, I was like, dude, like I'm fucking nervous.
Yeah,
So
and
only
you know
imagine
us,
at
and there's
that
nobody
level.
else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you can only imagine at that
Yeah,
level.
but it was really interesting because the reporter from the Cincinnati Enquirer, as soon as he started his question, you could tell that there was a tone. There was something that he
An
wanted.
energy shift,
There was
yeah.
an energy shift in the room, and knowing what you know about the girl, or the woman, like clearly it's not something she's fond of. She struggles with it, but she's still out there. You know, she's still doing it. She's like, she's not. There's times where she like withdrew from a competition, but every time she's in a competition, she talks to the media. She does as best as she can, and which at the end of the day, as a human, you got to respect it. They're doing what they can with their limitations. So as soon as this guy started talking, you could tell energy shift. This guy has a tone. All right, what do you want? And essentially what he is saying is, how do you feel of the fact that you hate, like, obviously you feel a certain way about us in the media and what you have to do with us, but at the end of the day, you use this platform to, she's an activist in a lot of ways. She does fashion. She gets into a lot of new things. So it's kind of like, you're using us, yet you don't like us. And how do you balance the two? But you could tell he was just coming at her to bully her.
Yeah,
like
he had a really like bully tone to it, where you could tell he was kind of being a little aggressive about it, and kind of piggybacking off what you were saying. It's kind of like he says, okay, so you hate this aspect of the media, but yet you'll jump on your social media platform, which is still a form of media, and you have no problem talking, you have no problem posting, you have no problem doing this. So where's the distaste when it comes to us?
Yeah, and it was really like, I saw the whole thing, not live, but like the actual the interview or the press conference, and she had to really think about it. There was a lot of open space of her thinking. It was just quiet. There's nobody around,
and you see the thinking process.
Yeah, and she said it too. She's like, that's I have to really think about this. She's like, give me a little bit of time. And you could just tell she was struggling, and the kind of the mediator that kind of says, oh, next question, you could tell even she was like, all right, we're gonna jump.
At one point she walked out, right, and she came back in.
Oh yeah, she walked because she started crying. Like at the end of it, she started crying.
Yeah, you could see her getting teary-eyed, and she kind of dropped her hat a little bit low, and then
yeah,
she kind of walked out and kind of composed herself and still came out. Which at that point, I would have, I would have been like, fuck that.
Yeah, I always think it's funny because that type of, like, the Cincinnati Enquirer, no disrespect, but it's like, who the fuck are you? I always find it funny how those column journalists are always wants to be like, hey bro, you hate social media or you hate media, but we give you the platform. It's like, do you give me the platform?
Not anymore. It's like whenever I look at journalists, there's very few journalists that I really like. How I view sports journalists is they're people that couldn't be athletes that have some form of resentment to athletes. Like a prime example, Skip Bayless. Hard on all athletes that are really great. It's because he couldn't be great. So to an extent, they're all biased. Like how, like that's why they say back in the day, I mean, it's not 1940 something anymore. Like it's 2020.
Yeah.
It's 2021. We have our own media. We could put out a tweet and we could say exactly what we want to say. We don't need you.
Athletes have their own media platform now.
Exactly. Like we have our own platforms that you didn't give us.
And I don't mean to interrupt you, but I'll say that to say this. When that guy said that, I was like, you don't even, like, obviously you're a moron because you're not even thinking about it in terms of this. Did you ever realize why it's so easy for her to go on those type of platforms to say that? Because that's her type of form of communication that she's better at. She doesn't have to record a video. She doesn't have to be live. Like, this is obviously the way she's most comfortable with.
And somebody that she's comfortable with is probably taking the photo or the video.
Yeah.
And sometimes these athletes don't run their social media.
No.
They don't.
So it's like
Almost never.
I've met influencers that don't even run their social media. They send their content.
I don't even run artistic hype media accounts. Lily does.
Oh, bro, you give up the secret.
Ah.
It's all good though. Now we know.
She's doing a
Shout
good
out
fucking
Lily.
job at it though.
Shout
But
out.
yeah, like they don't even run it. They send it to that person. That person creates the whole post, their interactions, whatever. So it's not back in the day anymore. And those, like how they used to say back in the day, is be nice to the media because they can shape your career.
They can make or break you.
They can make or break you because they're writing the reviews. That's where people went to get information, was their
They
columns.
paint the narrative. essentially,
Exactly.
is what
Back
it
in the
is.
day, yes.
Back in the day. Now, yes, still to like a small extent. But today you have the power of, if somebody takes something out of context from an interview,
You're gonna light 'em up.
You could light them up on your Twitter. You could go on IG Live,
Or you can
like
just
these-
go do it at the next press conference.
Yeah, because the way he made it seem, it's kind of like, we gave you this platform. You are who you are because of us, like the media.
So,
I
It's
didn't
like,
realize
wait
that.
a minute.
fuck
yeah.
20 years of your training
It's
of
like,
what you did.
it's like, wait a minute, like no, like she's been at this at a very young age.
Bro,
and
I
so
saw her when
she's-
she played at the tennis gardens, and even
Yeah.
then, this was like I think 2017.
It was, and
So she was probably
you
like
know what? And
20 at
she's,
the time.
she's no, because I think right now she's like 22.
22.
Yeah,
So
she was
she's-
still
so
a teenager
she-
still.
She
yeah.
was still a teenager. Yeah,
She was a
because I
teenager.
remember Lily was working for a golf and tennis company. I'm not going to mention their name because they don't deserve a shout out on here, but
No free shout outs.
So they had given her employee tickets, and so me and her went, and that was one of the matches that we got to see was Naomi Osaka versus some girl that was sponsored by Fila, and I was like, dude, this girl can fucking play. And then, I think it was 2 weeks later, she had beat Serena Williams at whatever fucking opening it was, and everybody booed her, and Serena even grabbed the mic and said, like, no, like, this is the next generation of tennis player right here. Like, you guys, got to give her kind of flowers and her just due because she's one hell of a fucking player.
She's a phenomenal once in a generation type of
2 years old
right
now.
Exactly. Like she's a once in a generation. Like it's the same thing as when Serena was
learning. Yeah.
When Serena was coming up. Like you have those once in a generation type of athlete that's coming up, and to be in this day and age, this generation where you could go on IG Live, like bro, if Soulja Boy could beef every week on IG Live, you can go out hilarious. And make a statement. And you can just say whatever you need to say. Put the link. Like I don't think the Cincinnati Enquirer is thinking you're not posting this on paper. You're gonna tweet this link to whatever column you're writing. Yeah. So it's like, hey, dumbass, she could do the same thing, and she could actually just make a series of tweets, or she could write her own statement, put a link, and tweet that.
And guess what? She has way more followers than you do.
Exactly.
Or even disrespect better, Cincinnati Enquirer.
Even better, have her publicist kind of post kind of a rebuttal to what the I mean, it's so fucking easy. Like, dude, like what news outlet isn't gonna want Naomi Osaka's rebuttal to what the fuck this asshole has to say?
Like the only person that's gonna publish it. Yeah. And it's like athletes have certain reporters that they don't like because of the way in which that they write about them.
Which, mind you, it kind of makes sense. Like when Marshawn Lynch was like, "I'm only here so I don't get fined." It's like
it should be treated equally as like. We need to give athletes their space because they are people. They have their own stuff, like maybe where they get social anxiety or anxiety just speaking on microphone. It's like, but we look at her and it's a really bad image. He's picking on a young woman. And then, but when it was Marshawn Lynch, people were like making it a joke, but it's still the same thing. It's like, bro, he's getting social anxiety. He doesn't want to do it. Like, who cares? He's acts a fool. He could joyride in a golf cart on the football field all he wants.
That's what people he's comfortable with.
Exactly.
Those are his friends, his teammates, people that he rides with.
And you know what I hate is that the justification for all this is like, they're paying you millions and millions of dollars.
Like that comes with like certain really responsibilities, certain marketing.
But because you wave a check in front of me, I'm supposed to like just forget that, hey,
that
mental,
my personal problems don't matter.
My own mental well-being is like it goes out the window and like no, like that's fucking dumb.
It's the same thing. It's twofold. Because it's like okay, you're a sports columnist. Process, if all these athletes stop playing, what are you gonna write about? What are you gonna write about?
That's very true.
You're writing about me. I'm as far as I'm concerned, I'm the reason you're getting paid.
If I don't sit down here in this interview and you're treating me like this, you don't have anything to write about.
Like I always thought it was so interesting. Like obviously they're required to talk to the media after the game. Like I never understood why, because there's a pitcher, Zach Greinke, who suffers from terrible anxiety. If you want to watch one of his interviews, you can tell within the first 10 seconds he should not be doing this. Like it is very bad to watch, and you could tell he's struggling with it so bad. I was like, okay, let's just do baseball. Okay, there's 25 guys in the locker room. We can't make an exception for one. Like, okay, he doesn't like doing this type of media, but he could talk to you guys off camera before the game or off camera after the game. Like, we can't, like, there's no wiggle room. Like, it's only this way and this way only. It's like it never made sense why there wasn't exceptions, because there's not a lot of people that suffer with it, but there is some.
There needs to be
there needs
to be exceptions made for athletes that legitimately can't do it.
Yeah.
It's like, because then it's a bad representation of your team. It's a PR nightmare. Like, say they fuck up with saying something, it's a PR nightmare.
Yeah.
And you'd rather have somebody that's well-spoken that can be the spokesperson for that, or just he'll talk to one reporter and that's who gets all the exclusive Zach Greinke stories or something. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure, I mean, if I was in that position, like, and I suffered like crippling anxiety to where I can't do this, I'd find the one reporter I'm comfortable with and be like, you're gonna get every story from me.
Yeah, but see, that's
have a blast.
You see, that's the thing. I don't understand why, and I don't know. Well, it's because of limiting media exposure, but I don't know why these like organizations don't just make these rules of like, this guy is only talking to certain reporters, or he's only doing these type of interviews. Like, for all athletes, the requirement is you're 100%. I'll do you one
better. You go through his publicist. You have a list of questions you want to ask him. Okay, send this to his publicist
ahead of time.
And well, I mean, So, you know, you really can't do it with the post game.
Well, the post game you could send him after, and he could give it to you
if they
that
win
night.
or lose, yeah, I guess.
But think
we'd
about it.
have to
Okay,
switch
let's
up a
say
little bit.
you had those questions. Let's
Uh-huh.
say you had those questions after the game. Okay, his post is gonna come back to him with 10 questions, and he's gonna be okay. Let me sit down for an hour and think about how I want to answer these.
And at least then they're well thought out. They're not having to kind of think on the fly and kind of say some shit.
or
that they
make
don't
them
wanna say.
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is they're not uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing is like you lose that respect of giving that person. It to me it's kind of like harassment. It's like you would never want to corner a person, and that's what it is for those type of people.
No, it is, and it's an ego trip on the journalism side of it. Of you just want to feel significant, because in this moment
Yeah.
the story's not about you. They're not gonna remember. They're not gonna remember who wrote this.
I don't even know the guy's name. I just know he's from
Exactly.
the Cincinnati
They're just gonna
Enquirer.
remember what you asked or who wrote the or what was reported. They're not gonna remember the only reason we know Skip Bayless's name is because he's on TV. The only reason we know Stephen A. Smith, he's on TV. We don't know. You can't name a fucking reporter from any Enquirer, whether it be the fucking Cincinnati or Delaware, whatever.
No.
Name a spot. You don't know the name.
There's a handful of impactful people in the media.
Exactly, and you
Or
don't you don't
memorable,
remember
I
them.
guess.
You don't, and that's them clinging on to some level of significance. It's like that's why they always say their name. Oh, such and such from this such and such place, and then they say their question.
Yeah, from the Miami Herald.
Yeah.
There you go.
And it's like, all right, bro, what's your fucking question? Just say your question. Who cares?
Like, I wonder if we're gonna see the shift only because, like, think about it. All those journalists, most of those people in those in old school media are old. Like, they're older people. Like, they're the
they're
older
gonna retire.
generation.
They're gonna phase out.
And that's what I'm saying. I was like, I'm wondering since we are noticing like, oh, mental health is a real issue. It wasn't really back in the day, or at least it wasn't taken serious. I wonder if we're going to see that shift in the future. It's gonna have to, right?
Or even then, like if they ask a question, like give the athlete a chance to say, oh, you know, like I don't wish
question.
to answer that right now.
Next question.
Well, they kind of could, but then they get backlash.
Then they report bad on their behalf.
Yeah, so
of, like,
And that's total
oh,
bullshit.
no, it
That
is.
shouldn't. It's
That-
such a fucking one.
That's
That's
welcome
freedom of
to media,
speech.
bro.
That's
Welcome,
freedom of
welcome
speech.
to media.
So-
Welcome to propaganda. Welcome to everything. Like, at the end of the day, they can shift how. Like, you could hear the same statement, and we could both report it in a different way. You can make the athlete look great. I can make the athlete look bad. I could say like they said it with this tone, or they said it like this. It's same words, but the way I'm phrasing or leading up to what that person said can shift on how you receive it. That's just how it goes.
Yeah.
It could be the same words, or I could take a certain part of what you said and forget the rest of it. You could take. That's how it
I
is.
hate when they take shit out of context, because then it's like, okay, well, you know, there's a backstory to it, or there's more to it, but you're taking that one clip that you know is going to go viral.
That's
or
why
it's gonna get
podcasts
the
are so
most
prevalent
yeah.
nowadays. Like, podcast is made for the creative. It's not made for the journalist. It's
No.
made for the creative of, you can come on here and say whatever you want. We're not taking it out of context. You're going to hear exactly how we ask it. It's raw, uncut. I mean, I can't
Whether-
speak for
like
100%. I
DMT
can't speak for
No.
100% of the podcast.
They can clip it though.
They can clip it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they do.
But then at that point, who would ever want to go back on that podcast? So podcasters aren't that dumb either.
No, you can't.
No.
You can't set up your guest to fail because who's gonna want to go? Like exactly, who's gonna want to go? And at the same time, it's like, oh well, I could go clip from that same interview the first minute and 30 seconds where I prefaced before I said what I said, or the last bit.
And think about it. How ironic that sometimes the best talks and conversations are on podcasts and not during those post-game conference. Guess why? Because there's just a few people in the room.
Exactly.
Like,
There's
a lot
nothing
of
better than Aaron Rodgers Tuesdays.
Yeah. Oh, bro, it's fucking fantastic on the Pat McAfee show. It's fucking. It's three guys. You have a
Shout
few
out.
Hey, shout out. There's a few guys on the side that chime in every now and then, but it's fantastic. It's fantastic. And you know
What's
what's
your deal?
Hey, and it's baffling. Hey, what's your deal, AJ? This guy fucking stinks.
This guy fucking stinks.
Nobody's gonna understand those references, but it's hilarious.
I don't even understand.
But and then I think about this. It's like, hey, bro, when was the last time you watched a press game, like post game
Never.
conference?
Well, not never, but I
Almost
just
never.
I don't have cable.
So the only time I ever do watch them is after the fights. But even then, you should
yes.
give the
Post
fighter
fight press conference, yes.
even then you should give the fighter the opportunity. The losing fighter, give him the opportunity whether or not he wants to be interviewed, because there's been times where fighters in boxing or
Are
MMA,
concussed, giving answers.
They
Yeah.
get beat so fucking bad,
Yeah.
and then they have to go and do
There's beating meat out there.
and they have to go and give a kind of a fucking little
Yeah.
conference or a little, hey, you know, you just got beat. How do you feel? It's like, the fuck do you mean? How do I feel? I feel like shit.
Yeah, it's
My
a
head
stupid
hurts.
question.
Joe Rogan has that
He
rule.
caught a lot of heat for that last one. What
For
was it?
Connor.
Yeah.
Well, Connor was
But
hurt,
he didn't know that
No,
Connor
no,
was
no,
going to
no,
say
no,
that.
no, not-
but
not
the
for
one
Connor,
time
for-
It was the Daniel Cormier when you started
Yeah.
crying.
yeah, and he
Yeah.
broke his one rule. That was the one time he broke his one rule of never interviewing a losing fighter after they get knocked
Yeah.
out.
But because
Yeah.
DC was such a big name, I know the UFC gave
Kinda,
him like they
yeah.
had to have told him beforehand.
It was kind of either you do this or no, you have to do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And he broke that one rule, and guess what? He never did again because what happened was exactly what he feared. Guess what?
They can't process
They
emotions.
can't process. Yeah, when you're concussed and you just got knocked out, your fucking equilibrium's
know
off.
what happened.
Yeah, he was crying. He was emotional. Hey, bro, this is not the time.
It's going to happen from a head kick from John Jones. It's going to happen.
Yeah, I would probably be crying, and I wouldn't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
That's normal.
It was, and he's a meme forever now.
Yeah,
Because of
it's
it.
sad, but I don't know. I just think it was just a lack of what I kind of equated to is just a lack of the older generations taking mental health serious and not taking into consideration.
But have you ever noticed that athletes turned journalists are way better
They
than
are.
just journalists?
because
They
know.
understand and they respect, like,
Yeah.
they understand the mind of an athlete. They've been in that same position, whether it's not the same sport. They understand, like, hey, what
Tony
you're doing.
Tony Romo's calling the fucking plays before they happen.
He's a commentator, yeah, but yeah,
Oh well.
But still, it's
But
it's the
yeah,
same.
it's one of those
the
things.
same
Like,
thing.
I think the more you get younger athletes or athletes that have played like from the late 90s, early 2000s on, and you get them, they have more, they feel more, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for, like liberal, and like in expressing themselves. They have a sense of humor. Like the athletes from back then, I don't know if you guys noticed, they're very cut dry, super serious. Like you get them from 2000s on, like they're very fun. Like Shannon Sharp is killing it.
Yeah.
He's been killing it for at least 3-4 years now.
Even Shaq's pretty fun to watch. sometimes.
Shaq is hilarious.
Shaq,
That's why that NBA
Charles
on TV is
Barkley.
always great.
Yeah,
Like,
because him and Charles Barkley was going back and forth.
yeah,
Dude,
and then
it's
you have
fucking
what's his name?
Kenny Smith. and then
Kenny
you have-
Smith. Yeah, and then you have the one journalist there
Yeah.
that has a good sense of humor. He's a good guy.
like
to
they're-
balance it out.
and that's what I'm saying. Like even with in anything, whether it's commentating, press conference, you can have like the A personality, or you could have like the main guy and then the color commentator. You can have both. You should have that contrast.
Yeah.
It can't just be all the journalists. It shouldn't be
No.
like that. And I think that's kind of what press conferences or whatever should be. Like you should have a mix of
Because
the
then
two.
you just have a bunch of people that are speaking from an uneducated perspective.
Yeah.
You've never been like when they sometimes when they speak on fights, it's like, bro, have you ever been in a fight? Like, do
Yeah.
you understand? Like, do you really know what they're thinking?
like how
and
great.
and not a street fight, but like the process of having to train for a fight, being away from your family for 3 to 4 months, and then having to cut the weight, and then having to go in there with some of these rounds are like what 5 3-minute rounds.
Yeah.
They fucking seem like forever.
Yeah.
Like imagine let's just say boxing. Like let's say the post conference or the post fight conference. It's like imagine you had a few like ex fighters that kind of are introduced into the media that are asking actual proper questions that they know it's like, okay, I'm not gonna ask them this question because I remember when I was going through it. It's a stupid
That's
question.
a triggering question.
That's a
right
triggering
there.
question, and two, it's a stupid question. Like, actually ask me something about what I know and what I can give you. It's like them being in that position, that perspective, they can give you those good answers.
Yeah.
And I wish they were kind of mixed so the journalist could be like, oh, then they could be humbled. It's like, oh, I'm asking stupid questions. Like, I should shut the fuck
Yeah.
up. Like, there should be the mix.
Like, you've never been like Tony Romo's been in several fourth quarter comebacks, 2-minute drills. He knows, all the routes, like schemes and stuff like that. So he's gonna predict plays. He's gonna know what they're thinking. Also, I mean, it's only a certain amount of time he could do that because NFL offenses are changing every 4 or 5 years.
But
They're changing.
you could see
he
it.
could kind of, he could kind of he's gonna have a great post career because of it. I listened to another podcast, Buzzing with the Boys, when Dale Earnhardt Jr. was on, and he was saying that he does one race a year, so he knows exactly what the racers are feeling. Like he actually physically goes out and does one race.
Yeah.
So he knows all those emotions. He knows what they're feeling. So when he color commentates, he knows exactly what that driver is thinking, what they're feeling, going into certain turns and stuff like that.
See that I like.
Yeah.
And-
I think that's probably the one sport you can do that. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe golf, but I mean, that's the only sport you really can do it.
If I would have been a Naomi,
Yeah.
Naomi Osaka, I would have been like, you know what? I want to see you do this
Hey,
shit at a
Play me a match.
Hey, bro, but you see, and that's the
Or
fucked
play
up.
me one set.
And,
And you
that, and
can't
that's
do
you,
that.
but you can't do that. And which is the same thing with like I hate post fight comments because it's like, hey, bro, you've never thrown a punch in your life. Shut up. Next question. But you're the asshole, or she would be looked at
Unless
as
you're
like
Mike Tyson and you start cussing out.
Oh,
the
bro,
media.
Mike Tyson.
different animal.
That's
Different
it.
animal. And it was once in a generation. But yeah, there was a lot of problems with that. You don't have to go that extreme,
The
but I
originator of
respect
the
it.
lith.
Hey, I respect it.
No, make him kiss.
No, Keith.
No, Keith.
But yeah, I don't know. Respect mental health. Respect people's boundaries.
Respect athletes. Respect athletes. Respect creatives. Respect artists. We're not puppets. We're not monkeys. Like,
Yeah.
I cringe when I see like, there's an old video of I believe it's Bobby Shmurda, bro, before he got locked up, where the label made him perform a song
In the conference.
in the conference room. It's like, I've always
How
thought,
uncomfortable is that? That's
bro, I always thought about it to
Why?
myself. It's like, bro, we're not
slaves
puppets.
or puppets.
Yeah, we're not puppets. We're not slaves. Like, I'm not a dancing
Yeah.
monkey
Hey, bro,
here,
you want to go
Like,
see me? Go to one of my shows.
yeah, and I always
Look
think,
at a video.
I always think like, yeah, you seem like kind of like a bad sport if somebody like, that's why I never say like I'm a rapper, because somebody be like, oh, freestyle.
Yeah.
It's like,
Or
hey, bro,
commu-
oh, dude, also ask me how high I can jump. And tell me if I could run to that rock and back. Like, bro, I'm not going to fucking
It's
do it.
stupid. It's
Yeah,
like the whole
it's dumb.
comedian thing. Okay, tell me a joke.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Make me laugh. It's
If
like,
anybody
I'm
ever
dumbass
tells you
question.
that, hey, rap for me, I would have been like, dude, like,
I'm always so rap for you and just fucking knock them out.
nah, that for me would be triggering.
Grandpa.
Like, yeah, nah, dude. What if I told you I was a
Gangster
boxer?
grandpa.
Yeah, like, hey,
Hit
shadow
me.
box right now. Hey, come on. Come on.
Hey, bro. Hey, hit me with your 1-2. And you just actually hit him with the. Oh shit.
Yeah,
It's
nah.
just, it's so dumb to me, bro. It's like, hey, I make clothes. Oh, yeah, bro, make a shirt right now.
No, and so I kind of, just to tie it back in
really good beer.
to I like those. I actually bought the wrong one, by the way. But
That's a
it's
really good beer. Were you by the Clamato
Do
one?
you like it or do you
No,
not?
I get the Modelo with the lemon and
lemons?
lime.
Oh, okay.
Just lemon and salt like that. Lemon and salt. It's good.
Sol chelada
But
limon and sal.
I just to kind of bring it back full circle. That's why for me and Lily, at least, that's why our brand is so kind of our third child, if you will, because it's kind of that
Until you have a
scapegoat,
third
and it's a good
Then
kind
show
of
forward.
it's a good kind of place to kind of,
Then you'll fit.
you know, how do I say it? It's a good mental break to kind of just go in and, you know, just art in general.
Yeah.
Is a good fucking mental break. So that's why I keep saying, you know, everybody needs some form of a creative outlet.
And she probably does. But at the same time, it's like, I don't have to answer your question.
yeah.
Oh, no, Osaka does. She has she works with she has her not her own brand, but she works in collaboration with a lot of like, obviously
She
you
does,
know,
with
like
Nike.
Japanese fashion itself is a whole
She's-
different animal.
She's doing one. Dude, Japanese fashion is so fucking ahead of, more specifically Tokyo, so ahead of their fucking time, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's nuts. They also have nice weather too, by the way. So
That's where
They have a
all,
lot of
I
cool
tell
shit.
Arthur, all the patchwork gods are over there.
Yeah,
they are.
we can't sniff what they're doing over there.
Nope.
We
You
try.
try.
You
You
try.
try. You're 10 years behind.
No.
Catch up.
Yep. All the shit you see them wear.
You're making memorabilities. We're making futuristic tees over here.
Yeah.
Hey, we're not the
They
same.
have LED screens on the fucking shirt.
Hey, eventually it's gonna happen.
Yeah. Trademark that shit right now.
It's a white tee in the sun, but at night, it's solar powered. There's a design on this thing at night.
Only the moon could trigger this.
Only the moon.
That'd be hard.
Only-
That'd be hard.
It says, "Want to take a long walk with me in the moonlight?"
In the moonlight.
And on the back, will you hold my hand?
I also love
Django reference.
I also love walks on the beach.
Yeah.
Go ahead, bro. We'll get into that next time. Well, that's a design idea. We'll get into that
Yeah,
next time.
hey, it's too far ahead.
I'm still trying to process it.
Well, it's a shirt that's solar powered. It's white during the day, plain white tee, if you will. Hey there, Delilah. And then at night,
What's it like in New York City?
it tells you what it's like in New York City on the shirt,
I'm 1,000
because
miles
that's
away.
how the design comes out.
Imagine
tonight
he
you look so
forgot to
pretty.
clear his web browser and it's like OnlyFans on the
Yes,
LCD
you
screen.
do.
It's like, fuck.
Oh my god. He's scrap this. We printed 1,000 of these.
These need to be sold.
Oh
Well, killed that topic.
killed
What's
that.
next?
I guess I kind of want to go into something a little bit more serious because I think it would be a shame if we didn't talk about this. Just because, granted, it's not in our country and it's not our culture, but there's still something to be said. Are we the people to talk about this? Maybe not. I'll preface with saying that.
And also, yes, we're not experts in foreign affairs and foreign policy. We're also not experts in COVID-19 and disease control. But what do you want us to talk about? Because I saw somebody make a post of like, oh, everybody's an expert now. It's like, bro, what do you want us to talk about? Can we not talk about life?
We can't talk about current events.
Oh, so
Yeah.
we shouldn't have these discussions.
Hey, you're right. You know what? Let me just talk about work all day.
Yeah,
You're absolutely
Go.
right.
It's the last fucking thing I want to say.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's like, hey, this shit's going on in the world. And
Yeah.
it's been going on since before we were born.
Yeah,
There's people alive today that the war's been going on before they were born.
Yeah.
It's been 20 fucking years.
Exactly.
So to
So,
turn a blind eye and say, "Hey, don't talk about it," it's like, okay.
Also, I shouldn't talk about something that directly relates to the country I live in. Nope, don't talk about it.
No. Hey, get over it.
Okay. Don't talk about COVID. Okay, well,
Yeah,
it's
don't
not
talk
like,
about
it's not like it's
Mexico either.
affecting people. Huh? What?
I'm taking a little skit from previous old episodes. I said, "Don't talk about Mexico either." Then.
That's the DNA days. Hey, those days are behind us.
That was one of the first HD podcasts too. But either way, continue.
But essentially, what's happening is, what's going on in Afghanistan that you guys probably see on the news, and if not, you should take a look at it because it is something that's very serious and something that should be people should be talking about and bring more awareness to. I understand there's nothing we could physically do, but enough people talk about it, there can be change. We've seen that over time. If not, how did civil rights come to be and everything else? But essentially, what happened in Afghanistan is Joe Biden back, I think in June, maybe April, he said by this time, by September, we're going to go ahead and pull all of our troops out of Afghanistan. And obviously,
Weren't people happy about that when he first announced it?
Well, yes. It's more the left side that were very happy about it.
Home and
Because
because you're saving money.
Yeah, you're saving money. Well, yes and no, because the
2
money's
point
still
something
spent.
trillion.
Yes, but I'll say that to say this: we initially went into Afghanistan before 2001, I think. Maybe it was 2000, because of what the Soviet Union was doing. Obviously, they were trying to make their impact in Afghanistan, and even then, back then, we didn't want that. So we wanted to go. The United States wanted to go ahead and go in there, get rid of the Soviet Union, and granted, was that some of their intention? Maybe. But let's also not get it twisted. They knew all the benefits that could come from it.
The resources.
The money that gets spent, the people that make money on war. It's, say what you want, at the end of the day, it's a fucking business. And it sucks to see because there was such conflict before they got there. There was such conflict while they were there. Like, if you're going to go ahead and go into these, I understand you're asking for a lot because different cultures, different ideologies, you could bring religion into it. So there's a lot of moving parts.
Hundreds of years of religion.
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts in foreign policy, especially when you're going into somebody's country. But it's just a shame the fact that there's conflict before, there's conflict during, and when you go ahead and leave and there's still a shit show going on, because even before they even left completely, there was already, like, the Taliban was already starting to take over cities. So, like, they could see they're making a move as soon as we're leaving. So they knew what was coming, and it sucks that they went ahead and pulled out the troops when they knew what was coming. Like, it was inevitable, and by you creating so much destabilization within the country and not working to have some type of structure, is democracy meant for everybody? Maybe not, maybe not. It's not for me to say. It's not my religion. But me personally, I would like to go on the side of democracy because of because of all the good things that could come from it. But at the end of the day, it's hard. It's a very hard thing. But when you go ahead into somebody's country and just fucking things up, and granted, is there bad people there? Yes, absolutely. But what are you doing to kind of problem solve? Like, you have to think about at the end of the day, what's gonna happen if I'm not here? Like, I think about that as like you
You're
think about it
speaking
as
to
a
like
parent.
the way you
Well,
leave.
so the analogy that somebody gave me at work was that basically we went in there and think of Afghanistan as being, somebody who has a broken leg, but rather than mending the broken leg, you gave them the crutch. So the U.S., when the U.S. was in there, they became that crutch, and they became so reliant on that crutch to be able to walk that the moment you take that crutch away, you start to realize, well, wait a minute, we never really fully fixed the leg, so you're not going to be able to walk properly. It's kind of like tough water. So it's kind of the same thing where it's like, okay, we went in there, we were kind of the crutch for them to help them to walk and stuff like that. But then, at a moment's notice, I don't want to say a moment's notice because it's been 20 years, but you pull that away, and then it's like, okay, figure it out.
Yeah, it's like, well, no problems got solved.
Yeah.
And it sucks because, and I kind of what you were saying to me, it's like, okay, they arm their military, they train their military. Okay, well, military is one aspect of what makes a country safe and makes it go. What else? Like, you could have an embassy in the capital, and you could have embassies throughout the country. But what are we doing so we could set you up in the long term? Like there was no, and that's kind of sucks that you have 4-year run with the president, so there's only so much you could do. But like there should be some like plan in place. Hopefully you could get it under 4 years. Maybe you're gonna be in office for 8 years. Hopefully that you could be like, fuck, in 8 years I can maybe get them to a point where they're gonna be set off well, and we can maybe start slowly weaning off and dialing it back.
Yeah.
But it never got to that point. And if you guys haven't, you guys should look at what's going on over there. The Taliban's completely taken over.
It doesn't look real.
It's something out of a movie.
Yeah.
It's really what you see in movies. It's like it's a war zone. Tens of thousands of kids missing. It's just it's very problematic, and it's not going to get any better. Now, what's going to happen is clearly they armed, and they left a lot of things there because they're trying to just get the fuck out of there. You just empowered the wrong people. Furthermore, so guess what? If I was a betting man, we're probably going to spend more money to have to go back in there and solve the problem that we never solved.
Or it's a even bigger war.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're going to spend more money than they initially did.
I can see it's you're being a president is an impossible job.
Impossible.
It's impossible. There's no way to make a whole country happy.
Nope.
It was feasible when we had 13 colonies. Even then, it was tough.
And even then, they try to stab the Union with like the South.
Even then, we threw fucking tea into the Boston River.
Yeah, bro.
Hey, they're just trying to turn it up.
Hey. But it's just so crazy because in any issue, you can see how many perspectives there are.
Yeah.
With anything.
Or you're saying like on social media?
And so just in general, like you could bring up Topo Chico. There's going to be people that like it, people that hate it, people that are in the middle. I remember since it's been 20 years, ever since I can remember,
We've been in
Afghanistan. Always people saying, bring the troops home. No, we need to do this. It's so many conflicting ideologies. And it's like, I'm of the, I've said it before of, foreign policy is really messing me since we have so much problems here internally that I think we should focus on. And I believe that. But also at the same time, you can't turn a blind side to the images and videos that are coming out. Yeah. It's like, you want to, how you said, you want to leave a situation, but you want to leave on good terms. Well, we always want to leave on good terms, whether it be a personal relationship or, foreign policy. And if you...
You're right, I should call her. Go on.
Right, I should email her. Anyway,
should block me on that too.
So...
I just try instant messenger.
I hit this motherfucker just aimed me?
Bro, I hit her on the aim.
No, but there's two sides to every coin because there's interviews that I've seen and there's people that are saying that, in a sense, and even this is even veterans saying it, that in a sense they're glad because you no longer have to see troops coming back from Afghanistan with PTSD, coming back with missing limbs and stuff like that because that area is still very problematic, and not to mention the money that's being spent out there, and we've been out there for 20 years, but at the same time it's like, okay, I see that side of it, but at the same time it's like, well, once you leave, what happens to kind of the social norm there? There was
permanently fucked up from there on out.
Yeah, there was a woman
there
was a woman who was on an interview, and she says that the moment that she found out that the U.S. was pulling their troops and the embassy and everybody, she went home, changed from her jeans, and put back on the hijab or the more
fuck, I forgot the name.
Their traditional clothing that they wear.
They're more traditional clothing, and it's like, how do you take somebody who grew up in an area where they were able to wear jeans, they were able to wear tank tops, they were
able to have rights,
and to go back to, it's like you leave and then all of a sudden this country starts to regress and all the progress that they made, it's like, okay,
and not only they're regressing, but now they have your artillery to enforce
that you left behind,
behind. And what I was saying is, I can see both aspects of it, and it's very tricky. That's why I don't believe in getting it. If you don't need to get into foreign affairs, then don't.
No.
Because now it's always, if you've seen videos of two people fighting, the person that's trying to mediate and trying to calm everything down, de-escalate, ends up getting hurt.
Yeah, they usually end up
and
hurt.
Yes, you want to help when you can help, where you can see help, where it's actually feasible for you to help. And I heard part of Biden's statement, his speech, where he said we were there for 20 years. if we're there for another year, for 5 years, it's not gonna make a difference. Like at some point, like basically what you're saying, at some point you got to cut the cord.
Yeah.
You got to know when to leave, and it's like yes, but also how you leave,
Yeah.
how you make that transition. It could have been, yes, you said in June to September. That's a hell of an abrupt end to something you've been committed to for 20 years.
Yeah.
It is.
Make
And kind of like, I don't know.
Having exit strategies. You don't just fucking leave.
yeah, like make
even
your
then-
exit strategy like maybe a year long to where like you're slowly taking your artillery out. You still have some
Yeah.
troops there.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking too. I was like, okay, think about it. Once you see the first city that got taken over by the Taliban, it's like, okay, maybe we need to
Let's
slow
pump
down
the
this
brakes.
process.
Yeah.
Let them focus on that one city, get it back, and okay, let's go on to the next city and have a plan in place. So it's not just immediate boom.
Yeah, and also part of the problem was too is that they trained their military and everything, but there was a lot of kind of military officials that were saying that they would not fight a war under the current person that was there, the current
President?
Afghan's current president or leader or whoever it might be, because they said that even within their established democracy that they deemed that okay, it was corrupt. So it's kind of, you take the lesser of the two evils. Either you fight for this person, or the Taliban's gonna come knocking at your door.
Yeah, they were fucked either way.
Yeah.
But and my biggest thing is like, okay, all right, if you know that we've been there for 20 years, and there's a lot of, obviously, on both sides, a lot of casualties. Well, hey, those lives were lost, and you might as well kind of justify and kind of, or I don't know I can't think of the word, but you might as well honor them by doing this the right way. Or like, now think about like,
because now people are saying, "Oh, it was a waste of time." It's
That's
like,
what I'm saying.
And I see my friends that were in the military saying, "Like, oh, apparently we were just there for no reason for 20 years, or "Oh, apparently us being there for 20 years, it was a waste of time. I lost friends for no reason."
and that's what I'm saying. Like,
And it's so fucked up to look at. Like, that's how you want to say how it is now, and like, I mean, you can't blame for some people saying it because of the way it ended.
yeah,
The way it ended, it's like, oh, so like we weren't. What were we there for then? Like. It's kind of like, it's a head scratcher because it's like I said, it's tricky, it's messy, it's hard. Like, there's no way you could please everybody. There is a better exit strategy that you could have done. Like 20 years, bro. Yeah, you're not gonna get everything you need out in 2 months.
No.
You're not gonna get everybody that you need out. Like, yeah, you're gonna make sure your troops are there. But what about all your fucking artillery that we spend trillions of dollars on? Like, you just leave that there? That's what they chose, and it's like, oh, like. It almost seems like a fucking video game. Like, when you're playing a video game and
you're in a war zone.
and you're in a war zone and like you pick up, dead people's artillery, like their guns and stuff,
you
or their
open a
ammo.
crate and everything's fucking there.
Yeah,
for
it's
your
like, yeah, bro,
disposal.
as you're retreating, everybody's coming in and picking up everything you're leaving behind, and they're strengthening, and it's like, bro, you're really leaving a fuck situation. So it's
And it's
tragic.
not like you're leaving it behind to the military that's currently in place. You're
No.
leaving it behind to the Taliban.
Yeah.
It's like, okay,
It's such horrific images that you're seeing in videos. It's a, like we were alluding to with social media today. It's like the only reason we're able to see this now is because of social media. Like, growing up, people didn't see everything that was happening in World War One, World War Two. Like, no, it took a while for those, everything to be developed and put out. And it's like you're seeing everything kind of in live action right now. Like, what's happening there? Credit to social media. It's like, bro, like, this is not how. Like, maybe if this would have been back in the day when all we had was newspaper, nobody would have known. But now that
nor
we
would
have,
anybody bat an eye.
nobody would have batted an eye because you're not seeing it. You have no emotional attachment.
All they hear is, oh, our troops are coming up. Cool.
And now that you can visibly see it, it's like, at some point, where's the human factor of that's a human and you're a human?
Yeah.
It's not right. And if you're already fucking there, at least make your exit strategy to where it's not as horrific and it's not as abrupt, and it's not like, bro, all you did was make a bigger mess.
at least give them a fighting chance.
Yeah. Well, and they were doomed from the beginning. You would think within 20 years something would have changed. It's also hard to change generations worth of ideologies and stuff like that. It was never going to be a solvable problem right off the bat. But you would hope within a 5-year span, a 10-year span, you could slowly but surely start implementing policies in place that could maybe start getting them on the right, or on a better track than they were before. But let's be honest, they were only really there for their own self-interest. Call it what you want.
You're
And
saying the United States government.
Yes, the United States government. And guess what? What's probably going to happen? They'll probably end up going back again for their own self-interest, because at the end of the day, war is money. War is a business.
Yeah.
I know there's plenty of defense contractors out there that bank off all this shit.
There's a saying that says that, hey, you know, if you're a president and you want to serve instead of a 1 year or a one term, what is it?
One term in office.
If you want to serve the second term, the full 8 years, start a war.
Start a war.
Yeah.
It just sucks. I mean, it's sad to see all the images, especially like you see, like it's fucked up, but you see like the troops like bringing their dogs on board over like trying to add an extra few people you probably could have saved. I get it. Foreign affairs is messy, bringing in people into your country, but
you know it's bad when people are hanging on by dear life onto these planes, knowing that at any moment, you know, and you know, in some instances it did happen, but at any moment's notice, you're gonna fall from this plane to your own demise.
Yeah, like
immediate death.
And I saw people on social media, and I immediately, like, it's not people that I follow, but it's people that I follow them, like making fun of those situations. And I'm fuck you as a person. I don't wish harm on you, but clearly you have no perspective on human life.
It's that human factor. It's like, bro, that's a person.
Yeah, shut the fuck up.
But yeah, it's the same thing. It's the same people that are, well, I mean, at least in the one instance that I saw, it's the same people that are like, oh, you know, they're pleading with the U.S. government, or they're pleading, hey, you know, people are trying to cross the border and cross the river.
Oh, you talking about Kendall Jenner?
And they go through great lengths, you know, for their family to try to find
that bitch getting lit up.
a fucking
With the vehicular manslaughter,
a better life, but yet you're over here making fun of somebody who's, you know, hanging on a plane for dear life that wanted.
Think about how bad it has to be for you to. You think you're gonna like
you
that person knew
know
person
the
probably
outcome.
knew I'm not gonna be able to hold on to this plane.
yeah.
And they thought about it. It's like I have a better chance.
It's a survival instinct that kicks in. That it's like, no, like this place is so fucked that it's this or I die.
I have a 0.1% chance to maybe survive holding on to this plane.
Yeah.
I'll take that chance over
Even
living
probably lower than that.
point
But-
zero zero zero
But
zero one.
I saw a tweet that said, those people chose, like, when you see people hanging on to a plane, they chose that the sky was safer than the ground.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, man, like, this is my last chance. I'm gonna die regardless.
I might as well fight, trying to get out of this. Fight a fighter's chance. I
Yeah.
don't know. It's just really sad to see. And then you just have the morons that are living in this country that make fun of those situations.
It's always the people that are pro military, pro gun, pro this, pro that, and it's like, hey, they're people.
Yeah.
Have some human factor to you that these are people. You can't. I understand the people that didn't want to be helped are obviously on, you know, the opposing side. These people wanted to be helped. This is also their home,
Yeah.
so you could see the emotional attachment of like, well, I don't want to leave my home, but I want my home to be a better place.
Yeah. I also
And-
want my kids to live.
Yeah, and it's like, well, fuck, like, it's just, I think I said it on the podcast last week, but it's like, I'm so thankful to be here. Like, even though all the bullshit that we go through here, it's like when you compare apples to oranges, it's like
There's no comparison.
there's no comparison.
Yeah.
And if, you know, my day to day, I don't have to deal with that. It's like, bro, I'm fortunate, and I can also feel some type of empathy and compassion. Like, that's the human element of being a human, is emotion, and being able to express those and have those emotions. And I look at people very differently when it's always negative, or when it's situations like this and they have something negative to say.
Or it's always just jokey. It's like, okay, like, at one point at some point you have to get serious. You just,
And not everything's a fucking joke, dude.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
Which,
just-
I mean, on the flip side, not everything's that serious, but, you know.
Time, place.
yeah, when it comes to
Time, place,
I'll
topic.
say that most of the time when it comes to problems in America, I understand. Sometimes it's not that serious. Like there's, but that's just people lack of perspective that probably have never leaving their state, and it's a whole different thing. I don't know. It's just, for me, it's very disheartening seeing all these things. So for you guys out there, just like we're gonna do, educate yourself more. Obviously, there's things you can maybe do. Donate to certain places. Do your research, because at the end of the day, it's like there's a lot of, like, I love the fact of, like, the Black Lives Matter movement. People are so aware. People are doing different things. They might not. You might have no attachment to them. But at the end of the day, people are people. Do what you can.
At the same time, wouldn't you want somebody to help you?
And if your country was like that, it's like
And
I
if
would
you
say
do
so.
know us something, say something. Let us know.
Yeah. Hey, I will repost whatever I can, do whatever I can. Just do your part. I don't know. Very sad, but Kendall Jenner. I mean, not Kendall. Kendall Jenner. For whatever reason, she always gets brought up. So obviously, I don't know if you
wonder
guys are
why.
on Twitter.
I
Got
wonder
lit
why.
up for her posting her being. Caitlyn Jenner was at the border posting people immigrating into our country because Trump's wall wasn't completed. I don't know his pronouns.
Wait,
her
I
pronouns.
missed this.
Her.
Her. Okay, so it's a her. She was pretty much
Caitlyn
was
Jenner,
She was okay. I'll explain it. She was on a hill recording people crossing the border because there's a part of Trump's wall that wasn't completed, so people were literally crossing. Granted, was there probably miles and miles and miles of desert that they probably had to get through there to even get to that fence? Probably. So there's probably people who lost their lives along the way. Which, considering Caitlyn Jenner killed a person in a car, she got this
know
is
that she ran somebody over.
this was a few weeks or maybe a few months before she transitioned. She killed. I think it was one person,
Yeah.
but still, she killed one person and she got indicted
ran
for
him over.
manslaughter. Ran him
What
over.
the fuck?
So, and I'll bring this to Kendall Jenner. She always gets lit up because she has a lot of cringe moments. But pretty much, it's one of those things like, hey, Bruce, or fuck, I can't call her Bruce. Caitlyn Jenner, read the room. You literally killed people. You've taken a life. Like, for you to go ahead and comment on these people that are trying to survive and make a life, shut the fuck up, because you have no room to talk. You literally killed somebody.
Sorry, I don't mean to laugh when you said that. It reminded me of the little OJ saying where he was like, I stay away from LA because I might be sitting next to the killer.
I might run into killer. It's like,
Yeah, they're like, is Los Angeles made of mirrors?
Yeah.
is it fucking the House of Mirrors in there?
Yeah.
And then Kendall, I don't know. People just started lighting up Kendall Jenner. It's like, hey, bro, your fucking daughter's
Profiting
off our culture, and she's literally culture appropriating, taking shit I got it from Mexico, like marketing it as hers. Like, shut up, bitch.
Ain't that about a bitch? Her own daughter is out here
Slinging that shit,
slaying,
profiting off.
has a whole ass business.
Profiting?
Has a whole business profiting off of the back of Mexican culture.
And the people that are trying to cross to get to a better life. Ain't that about a bitch?
Yeah, and so, but yet here's her.
Hey, by the way, when I saw that, I'm all, oh, Bruce, or fuck, Caitlyn's a cunt for this. I'm all, she's a cunt now.
But yet Caitlyn's there recording and having her own two fucking sons to add to it. And it's like, well, wait a minute.
We gotta finish
Don't-
this wall.
Don't
Look what's
people
going
within
on.
your family, like, aren't they profiting off of that
Oh,
country
bro,
that you're so opposed to?
The argument could be made that is the biggest culture appropriating family of all time. The argument could be made.
They probably are.
But, I mean, it's not my place to say.
And why we give them that limelight, I don't know.
So to that, I'll say, hey, Caitlyn, up yours. That's all I got to say about that. Great podcast this week, guys. I don't want to end on
Very-
sad notes or anything,
No.
but there's certain things we should talk about. Even though we might not be able to talk about it, should kind of bring awareness to some situations going on in life. I will say, I do want to end with this. For those in Baja Fest, in Rosarito, I know there's another weekend coming up this weekend of the concert festival. Be very safe out there. Be very careful. There is things that happen. Always be in a group. Just I'll say that because there's been a lot of things that have happened that the media won't talk about. So that was my only 2 cents.
Wow.
This has been a very enlightening podcast.
Yeah.
We talked about a lot of things.
Well,
I liked it. I liked it for my first podcast being back. And
How'd
I,
you-
wasn't,
I'm
I
glad.
wasn't I wasn't being a complete asshole or a complete
why would
acting
you ever
a
be?
fool. No,
I didn't even
and
know you
some-
had those traits
and
in
some,
you.
and some of the other.
How much times have you been? By the way, how much times have you been on the pod? Like once or
fifth.
twice?
No, this is probably like my third or fourth time.
Yeah, I was to say.
Yeah, I've been on it a few times. Yeah, and some of those earlier episodes, I'm like, I look like a fucking jackass. I'm acting a fool. So I did better. I did better.
Hey.
I will say
Bro.
you surpassed your previous performances. There's times on those previous, and those are in the DNA days. So those previous DNA days, you dug your own hole.
I
But
did.
you know what?
You climbed out of that hole.
You climbed out of that hole, and you.
And you know what you came out with? An artistic hype shirt.
I did. Which, by the way, sorry, do you guys mind if I do
Go for it, plug your shit.
Which, by the way,
Pause.
on Instagram, we're at artistichype.co. not DOT, but period co.
I don't think anybody was.
No,
I'm
I
glad you cleared it
guarantee
up,
you there's
though.
probably a
Okay,
few.
yeah, I glad I cleared the
No,
air.
please clear it.
So we'll be dropping. Just go follow. You'll see where we're dropping. We're dropping 2 designs. It won't be this one. You gotta wait for this one. But we'll be dropping 2 designs. We're gonna be opening the website August 20. Fuck, Lily's gonna kill me. I want to say 26. I could be
Thursday.
wrong. Yes, we're gonna be opening the website August 26th, and we're gonna close it September 5th. So you got a total of 10 days. I don't want to hear any fucking excuses because with the previous drop, it was, hey, do you have this size? Hey, do you have this? Hey, I was like, dude, I literally promoted this shit for like 3 fucking weeks, and I left the website open for 2 weeks. You had
I understand your anger and
Oh,
frustration.
bro, we
bro.
run through this all the time.
Wait. Before we close off, I have a new fond appreciation for what you guys do. The bagging, the designs, the printing, the order fulfillment is the biggest fucking pain in the ass. It's getting a hold of this person, getting a hold of that person, doing will call in the middle of fucking summer when it's 120 degrees
The
outside.
fucking heat wave.
No, and then the first time we did will call, I brought my son out with me. He had a blister on his ass from how hot it was outside.
And I told you after that, I was like, never
Never bring my kid.
Never.
Again. No,
do.
I
Well,
want
not even not bring a kid, but like if you know it's like the hotter part of the month, it's like,
Yeah,
hey, bro,
so-
fuck everybody and just do like 7 to 9 when it's not
or
too
even
hot.
then, hey, no fucking will call. We're gonna have to mail it out to your bitch ass. I'm sorry, I don't mean. I
Oh,
don't,
hey, that's the Coachella. Hey, don't. Hey,
hold
he
on,
loves
hold
his
on.
customers.
Yeah,
that's
I
just
don't-
the Coachella.
that's just
in
the
him.
passion right there. That's passion. That's straight
I don't
passion
mean
right
to
there.
insult
Hey,
my
this guy's
customers or
fiery.
my new customers, but
That's a man who cares.
So August 26th, Thursday, to September 5th, which is a Sunday. We're not gonna order extras. We're not gonna do none of that bullshit. So get your order in. If you miss out, you miss out. I'm sorry.
Hey, and you know what? If you miss out, it's all good. Follow the page, and you guess what? You'll be able to get the next drop.
You'll be able to get the next drop. And
So-
we're also working on a giveaway too, but that's something, just follow the page. Lily runs the social media pages, and so she'll keep you guys updated on that. But there'll be a chance where you could possibly win an unreleased design. So that's neither here or there. So
Hey.
Well, thank you for
Well,
being
thank you guys.
thank you for being our anger translator, because that's stuff that we really.
I can't. There's many times where we want to talk our shit, but I don't want to come off as those guys.
oh fuck no, I'll talk the shit for you guys. So let me tell you, motherfucker.
So any motherfucker next time. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, go ahead
And
and follow,
another thing, right?
Go ahead and follow Artistic Hype. Support the next drop. Support local business. We're all about supporting local business.
Shout out to this podcast. Shout out to Heaven Demons. Shout out to the Culture Corner. It's too many of y'all motherfuckers to name. But
That take too goddamn long.
long ass.
y'all can message me and call me a hoe in the
Fuck
fucking
Mobb
group chat.
What?
Just kidding. Fuck Biggie.
If you don't want your designer all in the photo shoot,
All in the
all
video.
promo video, come to Artistic Hype or possibly Heaven's Demons.
Whatever y'all want to do.
Either
Come to
or.
the Culture Corner.
Yeah.
Do you have any final words for our 50 million viewers?
He's asking you.
I'm asking you.
Oh,
I usually ask
that
Sam,
was-
but you're the guest.
That was your final words.
No, just subscribe, like, comment, share. If you hate this video, give it a thumbs down, give it a thumbs up. Stick it in your
Interaction's
ass.
what we
I don't
want.
care.
Interaction.
Yeah,
We'll
just-
take all the interaction.
yeah, and you'll see me in there. You can argue with me in the comments if you want to. Or
there.
Hey, because he's gonna be the first one to comment.
always.
You're never
always,
gonna.
all the
Hey,
time.
I will dare anybody to try to beat him to a comment. If you could beat him to commenting,
See me outside.
hey, see me for the next drop. We'll talk about maybe free shipping.
Yeah, we'll work something out. But thank you guys. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for coming on. Excited for your next drop. Excited for what you got coming in the future. And yeah, folks, that's all for this week. Be kind to others. Be kind to yourself. We'll see you on.
Coachella Fight 3, homie. Just kidding.
And all that. And you know what? Hey, see y'all next week.